The reason I wanted to make a video about this quad is because it's absolutely one of my favorites. I never thought I was going to be able to have this much fun with something like this before, and it's actually one of the reasons that I wanted to start making these FPV Journey videos anyways, just because it was so fun to follow the progress from learning, you know, this to going towards bigger ones. And this one is kind of the one that really taught me how to fly fast and take more risks with doing acro mode, and it's just really fun to be indoors. Like right now the weather is horrible outside, it's cold and rainy, but I can still have fun by flying this. And honestly, I thought this quad was completely done. The motors were shaky, the frame was breaking, there was hair stuck in it that I didn't know about, but I replaced all of the props, I super glued the plastic frame, and one time it even fell in water and it died for about 2-3 hours. I did a blow dryer, used a blow dryer and dried the board out, and next thing you know, it was working. I mean, this was crazy. I've literally crashed this probably like 300 times. I love this thing and it flies amazing. Another thing that was happening was, I think because when I re-put it in stock settings or whatever it was, the PIDs, which are basically the flight settings for this, were so off, and I'm flying with a beta FPV controller, which I really like, and for some reason, I don't know, it just wasn't fun to fly anymore. So I went on Google and I found someone else's PIDs, and I think it was Nick Burns. He makes awesome videos on YouTube and he flies these inside really amazing, and someone had posted his PID settings, so I was like, whatever, let's give it a try. And I posted them in the CLI, and now it's flying exactly like it used to, just amazing, super smooth, a lot of control, and I have an absolute blast with this. So here's some cool flight footage, and I hope you really enjoy it. These are the 19,000 kV motors, so they go up to I think 25,000 kV, and those are faster. Those are like the Sport Edition Mobula, but I think this suits its purpose for what I want it for, and maybe in the future I'll get one that does it. Otherwise, this camera is a Runcam Nano 3, and it actually has really good footage, and you'll kind of see exactly what I'm talking about. It's maybe not the best, but I think it does a really good job. The only other thing that I would want is maybe put the angulation a little bit down, especially when you're starting, but ever since I changed the rates, I don't know, it's just been flying so perfect that I don't really care about the camera angle anymore. I don't have to push it and, you know, make it feel uncomfortable. So this Mobula is back in motion. You know what was so crazy was I was on Race Day Quads or these websites earlier today trying to buy a new Tiny Whoop for this little season, which is Tiny Whoop cold season, and I don't think I need to do that anymore. So I'm so excited that I can just play with this from now on. So this quad has a flight time of about 2 minutes. It's kind of on the shorter end, but there's ways to make the flight time longer if you're tech savvy. You can do a JESC firmware reinstall. I thought I did that before, but I think when I rebooted the CLI, I think I put it back into stock settings, so I'm not going to fiddle around with it anymore. But these are not the batteries that come with the drone. These are 300 milliamp hours, and they last about 2 minutes. So I guess this is a good time to talk about what analog looks like. So a lot of times when you fly this, you're flying in digital, and that's a whole different thing, and you use different drones for that. But when you're flying these little drones, like this guy over here, or the Mobula that I'm doing the whole video on in the first place, is you have to fly analog. And to fly analog on a digital system, you need a receiver. So I bought this from Amazon for about 30 bucks, and you put these antennas onto that receiver. And then what this receiver goes onto is this analog adapter that attaches onto your DJI goggles, and you have two plugs. You have the power plug that goes into the power connector at the DJI unit, and then you have an AV in plug that goes into the AV plug out here. What happened was I finally patched up both of these drones, ready to fly, ready to go, and the AVN plug just snapped off completely. So kind of a big bummer and kind of a headache, honestly, in terms of doing analog on the DJI. But yeah, here, I hope you enjoy. We can do some hand B-roll.
Scooch, drop top.